Yep.
All right, we'll call things to order then. All right, first order of business, review and approve, October 6th, 2020 minutes.
Hey, Kathy.
I have a motion to. I second it, I guess. Oh, we got to do it. All right.
Very good. What do you think, bud?
Not like looking now.
All right, next is to review and approve October 20th, 2020 warrant. You guys just, you going through them?
I'm going through the warrants.
Yeah,
I did the payroll one, that's all.
Okay.
Make a motion, make approval.
I second it. All right, new business. In case people are wondering why Gary is, he has resigned from the select board.
Wow.
So now, just me and Dwight,
You have my vote of approval, you guys. Good luck. Tough road to do it with just two.
Yep, guess what we gather, we're gonna have to have a special election to finish his term, yeah.
When does that come up?
It can come up next town meeting, I think. I mean, the MMA says there's no hurry on it. I mean, we don't have to,
Okay.
as long as it's, you know, both of us attend meetings, and we still have a quorum, and,
Right.
Danielle brought up, hopefully everything, if we agree on everything, because then it will be.
We know it's a wash.
Yeah,
You guys will do fine.
I think so.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna accept the resignation? Do you wanna vote on that tonight? I
Uh,
think that's what MMA was mentioning.
yeah, so, I guess, we'll vote on it.
I say do it and get it done.
Yeah, we accept it.
Yeah.
Maybe we closure level. You got a copy, you got a copy.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
It does me too, yeah.
I just gotta get, with Deb on the deadline, it's a little different on, I guess, when she files and stuff, the register.
Alright. Playground issues, I guess we've had some bad characters out there again,
Oh, great.
yeah. We was thinking about closing it to public, but we can't unless we put it, through a town meeting to close it, and I really didn't wanna do that anyway, so I think the next step is put more signs out there for cameras in use, or put more cameras. You said you checked into that when they were here.
Yeah, when we did these, he just, for future, we didn't know if maybe add one each year, kind of like to build us up.
Yeah,
And he kind of looked at a good location back there. There's an old camera back there with wiring that he liked, but a good angle, whatever. So he checked out the front and the back. So he kind of, he knows what the area looks like. He
Yeah.
can pull one pretty quickly, so if that's something you guys want to do. I can get you I can ask him again if prices have changed.
yeah,
or not.
ask for a quote,
Yeah.
maybe, get them out here and see how many we might need.
For just the back.
Just the back for now, yeah, that's where I run most problems.
What about the gate? Is that gonna get fixed at all?
We can ask Brian again, see if we can get him over here to dig a hole and cement that back in place.
Because we've got the cones and the chain out, but people can roll that over pretty quickly, so, I mean, at least that would, prevent people from driving out and parking back here with,
I checked them tonight, I mean, they look good out there.
Okay, good.
Last night they looked good too and stuff.
Yep.
I checked that, the door, every time I come here, because remember once they left that door open on the other building?
Yeah, one guy was checking doors that Ariel saw, he was pretty, a little suspicious, and he went to every door to see if it was open until Debbie drove in and kind of takes, just driving in, the guy took off, so it was up to no good.
Wow.
Do you have the camera footage of this?
We don't have one for someone to drive out back.
Because it might be my friends.
No.
Looking for a place to turn around and come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, when you got broken into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. We can check, I've going to the playground, but this happened a few weeks ago, that Ariel just told me about it last week, so.
so,
When did you get broken into?
a week ago last Friday, and then again this weekend.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And Bernie and Jerry got broken into also.
Oh my goodness, awful.
That's where they caught him, isn't it?
Say that.
Yeah, they caught him because Bernie and Jerry have a really good camera system.
Yeah, it sounds like it, yeah.
But, and they were hot on his tail, Bernie and Jerry were. And then they chased him out of there, and he went down into the swamp, behind my house, over sort of between me and Emily Black.
Yeah, yeah.
And, at least, he said he went into the swamp. And then he spent quite a bit of time at my house, at the garage, the cottage there.
Yeah.
He spent quite a bit of time there. I mean, he tried to crack a safe, which, I mean, you take the pins out of the door, it's not gonna open the safe.
No.
But that took him some time. He had to go find my tools, to get a punch, to, do the whole thing.
The doors, that,
Oh, my
And
God.
you take the hinge pins off,
you can't lift them anyway.
nothing happens.
No.
And they collected a suitcase full of stuff. It was like in the garage, there was this suitcase, sort of like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He went into my shop and loaded the suitcase up. And it was just fortunate that the day he did this was like the day we went to the Grange meeting.
Right.
We came home, Kathy was looking, she wondered she knew I'd cleaned off the orchard sprayer, and she wondered where I put it. She went into the garage. A suitcase in the middle of the garage floor, it doesn't belong there. She's supposed to lift it up, she can't, Yeah, this is not an empty suitcase. which freaked her out entirely, you know. Then we got the cops, and the cops, you know, a reaction when I called 911 is like, I don't know if you guys care that we got robbed, but, you know, we did, and I just thought I'd let you know. Because I don't expect anything, you know. And they said, oh, we got a couple chirpers in the area, we'll be right there, don't go anywhere. And they caught him with our stuff on him. And not just our stuff, but some of Bernie's stuff too,
So it's,
to prove the connection.
yeah, for both of them, there's two counts right there, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Hi, Doug.
How we doing?
And he left DNA evidence behind that Bernie had cut himself. So,
Yeah, she said that,
so
yeah.
they had the DNA and everything, so.
So you don't wanna have this place open back here, that if they're, you know, sort of collecting things or dispersing whatever, you don't want them, you know,
Right,
you're
yeah.
doing their drug deals or whatever,
Yeah,
you know.
I've heard there was a stuff, a hot place too, for,
Yeah.
behind there's one of those, rail cars. Tunnel
Yeah,
rail
yeah,
cars.
yeah.
I guess they leave stuff behind on that, quite a bit too.
That's sort of where the fuel tanks.
Right, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, they can't keep him in jail because of COVID, so he's back out in the street now?
No, they kept him.
They kept him.
They kept him. I talked with Phil Brown yesterday morning, and he said, no, he's still in.
Okay.
He said he will let me know when they let him out. I
If
mean,
it
I
had
asked.
been a small amount, or he hadn't taken anything, they probably would have released him if he could have made bail.
Mhm.
But because of the amount of stuff, potentially it's over $1,000, so
Yeah.
that's it,
Good.
you know.
People are saying Hiram's getting hit really bad right now.
Yep, there's a couple in Cornish, they picked them up.
Border, it's like a big chain, it's weird.
Some guy was doing flashlights at, Sophia's,
Yeah,
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
We gotta get a bigger dog.
Just lock your car.
Yeah.
right.
We can have a lockout.
Size of dog, it's not, it's the awareness, they don't wanna deal with people, so it's like black buildings, empty buildings, or people that have gone to bed, or, you know, whatever, they don't wanna have any opposition.
Yeah,
But if you
right.
got a dog, that's kinda what matters.
My dog gets stuff way before we get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's just a little dog, but all of a sudden he'll set up.
Yeah,
And he might just give you a little roof,
yeah,
but he works you, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
He
Yeah.
just gives you looking around.
You don't wanna scold them for it either.
No.
I have to go, what's he barking at? He said, he's barking at something, must be something else there.
In answer, partial answer to your question, Bob, the state police are involved.
Mm.
I think Cumberland County's doing catch and release, but the state is you know, these guys aren't.
Yeah. Huh, I wonder if that's why that trooper was over the corner last night. Was it-
No, I've seen her over there lately, quite a lot, I guess, that man.
Huh.
There's one that comes up through about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, too, a lady,
Yeah,
comes up 113.
yeah.
Good, and maybe get more attention from them and stay there and come with maybe.
Is Zabrowski still around here, or is he still working out of Augusta?
I don't know.
I haven't seen him around for
I
a
don't
while.
see him around either. All right, we'll start special town meeting warrant. I think it's pretty good. You sent this to David Scott and.
Yep, he's gonna moderate, he
He's
said,
gonna
he was
moderate.
just busy with a case, so I hadn't heard from him, I got a hold of Bob on the planning board article, so it should be all set, so, yep.
So, I hear a motion to sign the
Make
warrant.
a motion, we sign that.
I second it. All right, old business, budget committee, Bob, what you got? Any update?
Well, I thought, you guys were gonna talk about how you're going to appoint us, and terms and whatnot.
We're just
We're gonna keep this low key, like we did the Sand Pond Beach.
Yeah, okay.
we can do that,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a raft of requests for data. with Danielle, so.
Yeah,
So we can get that, that's fine. I think we want to meet on Wednesday night, that's what seems to be the best night for everybody.
You're gonna try to meet here?
Yeah.
what time, Bob, do you wanna
Oh,
go?
well, I would think probably 6:37. I think Mark is, works in Portland or various places, he works for Consolidated.
Yeah,
And,
just email me when you find out, and I'll make sure it's on.
Yep.
So Austin, you gonna meet,
well, we're gonna go once a week until we, see if we can get some headway.
See you later.
Um,
You come here with a special town meeting, Chad?
Yeah.
Next week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
There's a rumor going around that it's tonight, but
Alright.
we're final next week.
Is it? So we got next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Is it? Alright.
I did have another question for you. A couple of years ago, at town meeting, we voted for twice-a-year billing. What happened to that?
Yeah, we're still working out details on it. I think this year's been, with the COVID, it's been kind of wild, so we still have to work out some details on that. Yeah, we wanna move forward with it.
You know, the issue there is that there's a chance that your money's gonna come in slow.
We're gonna have to change the fiscal year to make this work,
Yeah.
you know, so we gotta, the idea was is to get the reval done,
Yeah.
then we'll have to work with Debbie and change the fiscal year, because if we don't change the fiscal year, you'll be getting money, there's no way you're gonna do a double tax bill when you're getting the bills out in October for the first one, because the next bill will come the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta have them come both the same year, so if they come out in like April and then October, you know, we'll have to, like I say, change the fiscal year to make that work.
Yeah, like I say, the other thing is cash flow is, I would think the first time you do it, you're not gonna get all your tax money. Of course, you never do anyway, but you get a big lump of it, from what I've seen before, is you get a big lump of it when the bill first goes out, and then you get the stragglers. And so you get most of the money that you get, toward the end of the year, that pays for the year gone past, in essence, the way it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So I won't worry about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is there a computer with Excel on it in here that we can use?
I think that's on there.
You got it right there?
If it doesn't, we can load it on here. I
Good.
believe this has Excel. Find out real quick. I hit the right button.
So I guess pay extra for it, you know.
We have so many licenses.
You do? Yeah.
Not as nice as the Saco River though.
You sure?
Okay.
Hit it.
Good stuff, alright. We've got Excel 2016. Here's the
I think
thing on here. There you go.
I'm still using, Office 2007, so it'll be good enough.
Looks like we're gonna have to sign in and stuff, so yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Good.
Now you're gonna buy a computer, it doesn't come with Microsoft Word anymore, you have to pay extra, and then a yearly fee after that.
Oh, it's only, $200 $299 for the computer, right.
Right,
By
yeah.
the time you're done, however, yes,
We just wanted to
1,500.
do computers with someone, and that's what they did, and you want this, you want that, and it ended up being, $1,500, something like that.
Yep.
It was like a $800 computer.
Right.
But I got the, Microsoft Word for life, so I don't have to keep paying
Oh, cool.
a yearly, it's like $200 for that, so.
All that means is they're gonna get rid of Microsoft Word soon.
Yeah.
Call it something else.
All right, reminders, planning board meeting and public.
Not public hearing, sorry, it's a typo.
No
Not
public hearing,
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Delete.
Okay, planning board meeting Thursday, October 22nd, 7 p.m. Town office is open Saturday, October 31st, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Halloween office trick or treat, Saturday, October 31st, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
And special town meeting, October 27th at 6:30.
And special time. Yeah. And to show you how quick rumors and gossip quickly spread in this town. Everybody else tonight. All right. Questions from the public questions and comments? Joe, you got something?
No, we've talked about both of my concerns tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Kathy?
Now the, community auxiliary is dividing up the donations of supplies to deliver to 3 schools this coming Friday.
Oh, really?
And we're putting together mittens and hats for the kids on the buses, because they're gonna have to ride with the buses open. And not all of them are gonna remember it, so we're trying to have a little stash for the bus driver to dispense. Doesn't know who, doesn't, matter who it is that needs it, just, help them out.
Yeah.
Try and do something.
Yeah.
And, try to put together, boxes for Thanksgiving and Christmas for people that need it. So, gonna work with Maurice and Glenn to try to sort that all out,
Yeah.
do a little delivery, that kind of thing.
Maybe that's something, the hats and mittens, Danielle, we put on our website,
Mm-hmm.
and then when we start collecting, because they're probably
Yeah.
gonna need them,
Yeah,
keep needing them.
ongoing, yeah.
And have them, will they get in touch with Penny,
Probably Penny, yeah, yeah.
I don't know, I even got a number.
We also have a box here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we can do that,
We can do
set
that.
up a box, good idea.
Did the box ever amount to anything that was out here in the hall for school supplies?
I think the only person that donated was Gary, that donated probably 10 backpacks, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see very little stuff come in on that.
Yeah, I did some notebooks and pens, but
They ended up in quite a bit of supplies, and they
Yes.
eventually.
oh yeah, they did. A lot of people just called in and said, where do we take this stuff? We saw the box, but,
Yeah.
drop it off. Some woman deposited, 64 backpacks,
Yeah,
some outrageous amount,
yeah,
yeah, so.
New backpacks?
Yeah, brand new backpacks with stuff in it.
yeah.
It wasn't a lot of stuff, it was like a notebook, some pens, pencils, and crayons, and, simple stuff like that, but just set them all up that
I
way.
know a lot of places now, they'll only accept new stuff, they won't take any new stuff.
Right,
No.
yeah,
So we're gonna ask for new, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
yeah. The school was a little leery. One of the schools, they said, well, is it clean, and yes, they're wrapped or they're brand new, off the shelf. We can wipe things down before we put them in the boxes to go to the schools and make sure that they're safe for everybody.
Yeah,
So that's kind of the deal.
yeah.
Danielle, the masks that come from Civil Emergency Preparedness, have they been shipped to us yet, or?
We're supposed to pick them up. Gary was supposed to stop in, and I don't think he got there, so. I can email Margaret, I have to email her another matter tomorrow, so I can check in to see if the box is still there, so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I can go pick them up or something if we have to or something, or if they can send them to us, You got them at the library already, right?
Yeah,
You got 500, and how, did they send them to you?
as far as I know, I don't think Janine
I can
picked them
ask
up.
Margaret, yeah. She said they're here for you to pick up, so, and they don't have EMA meetings anymore, so they're all remote, so I don't go to the office anymore, so.
Or maybe she can get some to us or something.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, anything else, Kathy?
That's about it right now.
Bob, anything? Well,
Speaking of EMA, I'm a little, I don't know, hesitant on this whole, they changed the requirements on reimbursement. And I had a call with Donna Summer at EMA, and it is only first responders and fire department it would be covered under. So it would not cover, basically our awning,
the tablet,
the tablets, and.
leave it to the state, huh?
So, I guess, and, you know, she kinda said, well, you know, if the fire department is using it, you know, you can kind of, I don't think we're gonna meet the threshold, that's the problem. Cause we're gonna have to take out almost half of it. And it just makes me kinda sick to my stomach because I don't really wanna fudge anything either with the federal government, so,
Really, it's so funny.
I know. So, yeah, I guess it goes all the way till December 31st. So for some reason, if this thing goes nutty and we meet the threshold and the fire department needs a whole bunch of stuff, and we meet the $3,200 threshold, great. However, we're not there yet, even with all our stuff, so. Our PPE, you know, the masks, gloves, the cleaning supplies, you know, fire department did use it, and we used some of it, so, but as far as meeting the threshold, it doesn't look good right now, so I guess I just wanted to bring that up,
Okay,
so.
leave it to the government.
I don't know if you wanna
Change
kinda be
that.
mindful of, I guess, what we provide, and, I mean,
Before I come up there tonight, you know, the ballot boxes they talked about, you know, they wanted us to have ballot
Yeah,
boxes,
yeah.
I asked about that. And the state didn't even have any available.
Yep,
Guess where they're being made?
no,
Over the, you know, the place that makes the, grills over in West Newfield, right on Route 11, down past where the new fire station is over there?
Humphreys,
Before you come to Molten Lumber?
Humphreys,
No, yeah, Humphreys is making them.
Really?
They're $800 a piece.
What? Ouch.
Yeah.
Oof.
How elaborate are they?
no,
Dwight, here's a business, let's get into it.
Yeah, well, they're not that elaborate. He has a large one for $800 and a small one for $600.
Wow.
But I mean,
Ching, ching.
when they first sent the email out, you asked, they couldn't even give us the size of what they look like.
right, yeah. I asked for a description and they didn't have one. You see, California, somebody set one on fire?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And the fire department come and all the ballots inside were
Right.
torched and
Oh,
he cut it open and it's like,
oh,
Awful.
how do you reestablish that?
I know, it's,
Oh, jeez. Idiots.
I think we're better off to stay away from that.
yeah.
What,
Yeah.
bring ballot
Yeah.
boxes apart?
Yeah, we went to Debbie, you know, because it's Debbie's bailiwick to do it,
Yeah.
and she didn't figure it was gonna be a secure thing,
Right,
you know, so that's why we kinda stayed away from it and stuff. It isn't something we were required to do or anything, but.
Right.
I don't see what's been wrong with what's happened ever since I was 21.
Exactly,
Right.
if they come down after the ballot, bring the ballot back, you know, or if they ask for it to be mailed to them, just, I mean, they're opening hours enough down here.
Right.
and I think the way Deb handled it the last time we had an election for the school board, I think she handled it pretty good.
Yeah, I
You
did
know,
too.
one way in, one way out, and
Yeah.
There's no problem.
there's no problem there, no, spacing, and I think it was excellent the way it was done.
There's not that many people, and they don't all come at once.
Right, yeah, they
Yeah.
staggered and.
Although it got very crowded here, in 2016, the presidential election,
Did it?
general election, yeah, it was pretty full.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been doing ballot, voting already.
Yeah.
I've never done anything other than just pretty much walk through mostly, maybe 2 or 3 people ahead of me.
Yeah.
One thing they're worried about right now is people vote from out of town and drop it in another town's box.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never really understood why we couldn't do it the way we used to do it, where the polls opened at 8 and closed at 8, and you had 12 hours in which to vote, and you voted and went home, and then everybody counted the ballots,
Yeah.
and you knew by midnight who won.
Right, yeah, yeah.
I think there's gonna be a mess. There's too many ways to vote and too much time.
I don't know if you'll know the next one or not. You might have an idea.
Right.
Yeah.
You might not have it nailed down.
Right.
Not that night, not next morning, no. That's a mess.
It's that crazy, yeah.
See, Pennsylvania's gonna be accepting ballots for 3 days after the closing.
That, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Wow.
That just muddies it up, in my mind, you know. But I'm conservative, I guess.
Yeah. Anything else, Danielle?
No, it was a big thing with FEMA stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what about mechanical services? Have they got a date for us yet?
No, I'll touch base on that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the DEP either. He was supposed to stop in some Wednesday, maybe he'll show up, but I haven't seen them on the testing
Yeah, I
of the
had
water
that one
yet.
down here too.
I just got one thing, Bernadette brought up last week that she was told that we had to, give a person a thing, whoever complains, well, that's kinda half true, half correct. If the person who complained does it in writing, then it falls under the, right to access law. But if they do it verbally, we don't, Les was here, so you could hear this. No, we don't have to reveal the person's name for fear of retaliation.
If I could just say one thing there, it was David Strock who said it, and Bernie repeated it.
Okay, yeah.
So he may,
Yeah.
have some other interpretation.
Right. I mean, it's partly right, but, the fear is retaliation, even with, having writing, they caution that we could refuse giving them the information, and that person has to go get a court order forcing us.
Wow.
Because, the town could be held liable if something happens, and so I just wanna.
Well, it was, short-circuited because after David said that public information, then Gary admitted that he was the one who had asked. So, I mean,
Yeah.
And it's-
the job was done.
Yeah, exactly.
The truth was out.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have a letter of resignation from
Yes.
from Gary?
Yeah.
Is it possible for anybody to see that?
Yeah. You like it?
I would like
Right on my
to see.
desk right now.
Okay, I'd like to see
Pretty
that.
basic.
It's like 2 lines.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
my texting has been telling people who are concerned about this, and there's been amazement out there as a reaction. Is there any reason that he gave you other than what he says in his letter?
You don't say nothing wrong, just he's resigning.
It's a guy.
So did he talk to you guys?
He didn't talk to me,
Talked to me some this afternoon.
he talked to me a little bit.
Yeah,
When did he resign, today?
yeah, today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him, sometimes when you, in a battle or something like that, it's better to take a couple of minutes, sit down and think. This is the second bout he's had of doing this,
Oh, wow.
so he's pretty well, it says in the laws, if he wanted to come back in 2-3 days, we can throw the resignation letter away and stuff. I don't see that happening.
He just voted to accept it too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why there's only 2 of us up here tonight.
Well, I think it's probably better for the campground.
He could, yeah, he
You know,
he
I
doesn't
mean-
have all that extra
Right.
noise background
he
knowledge.
can maybe concentrate on the campground, because he couldn't do both jobs.
Right,
He just couldn't.
right.
Kind of overwhelming.
I mean, not just that they conflicted, I think that's partly his fault that he made them conflict. But, I don't think he has the capacity, that he didn't get a state license for, he didn't apply for a state license for 2 months.
Right,
It's like, you know, on the one hand, I could think he was an evil person. I don't see that. I see it as, you know, like senior year in high school when I was assigned that 10-page term paper. I'd have taken any excuse not to do that, you know, and like,
that's true, yeah.
you know, maybe it's just overwhelming. The job he's got is overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, yeah.
And this, you know, if he could, I think a campground, and I've said this to him, campground's a great use for that land.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it right. You know? You
Yeah,
do-
I think that's the biggest problem, is not being done right. I think right from the start, even
Yep.
with Scott, he came right in and,
Start messing around with the, backhoe.
yeah, he, the first thing he did was cut the trees around the bushes around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
The pond, yeah.
pond.
Yep.
Yep.
that didn't work out so well.
The worst problem they've got is thinking that being unpleasant to people will get them their way.
Mm.
And it's got him 12 to 20 people on my road who are totally opposed to the campground
Yeah,
because of that.
and I think they have the right to be too. It's the way they feel, and
And it could have been avoided.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It could have been avoided.
right,
Maybe now it'll get steered in the other direction.
That's
If Gary takes time and presence of mind, he can do this.
right,
I
Sincerely.
do think he can do the job, I just think he really has to focus on it.
right, yeah. Hopefully he can now, and focus more on it and make it a success. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are people that have called me to say, hey, is that campground open yet?
Yeah,
I'm thinking of coming up, you know, with family, or in one case, just to do some camping, and are they gonna be available? And I said, I guess so, they're having some issues right now, but I think they'll have it sorted out by then.
mhm,
You know, and I said they
Yeah.
close in October, and they'll open up, I'm not sure if it was April or May, I'm not sure when they open, but anyway, in the spring.
yeah, right.
And they said, well, we're looking maybe at June. I said, I'm sure they'll have sorted out by then.
Well, at least we know there's a license now that's good till 2021,
Yeah.
Exactly.
with 20 less spots than what was originally the CUP was designed for.
Yeah.
So we get something to go on,
Yeah.
and the water tests are being done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I asked him about the signs, he's working on the sign things right
Well,
now.
you know, he said something about one of the signs that he's required to put up. He's working on his relationship with the landowner. Do you know who the landowner is he's working on his relationship with? I don't either, but that land's mine.
Oh, really?
I own all around the base of the Center Black and 113.
113 comes
You
right
look
through.
any direction, that's my land.
Now, you own on the Henry side too?
Yep, I own a little sliver, because when they straightened the road out,
They left it.
you know, you can see the old road goes,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when Henry put that sign out there.
yeah.
He just come down with a chainsaw and cut everything, remember that?
Right, oh, that'd be Henry.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Probably never asked a soul or anything, you know?
Right, no, of course not.
Yeah.
I just gotta get Bob some stuff, if you just, are you all set with your meeting?
Yeah, I think we're gonna
Okay.
adjourn here.
Thanks, Danielle.
Yeah, well,
I hope some of these wounds heal,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
it takes time.
Yeah, it does, but
I think it's gonna take a long time. There's a lot of trust issues here, and it takes a long time to gain people's trust.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah,
And unfortunately, he kinda ruined that.
yeah.
you gotta do 10 good things for each one bad thing you do. You know?
he and I have both been looking this week to see if Brown Mountain Road is an ATV trail, and we can't find nothing.
It's not.
Yeah, I agree with you,
Hmm.
But I'd like to see something, like you say, something in writing,
one way or
that
the
showed
other.
me a map or something, but I can't find it anywhere.
I was going to say, you know, I miss this, because I have a hard time. Dwight, if you say something, it's true. That's all I need. The same thing with you, Jim.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's all I need. With him, he said, I saw a map, and I should have said right then and there, show me the map.
Yeah. Well, you know, on this whole thing, Joe, I think on either side, with the planning board, board of selectmen, we've all learned something.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
we,
Oh,
Hard
yeah.
way, right?
and well, we slapped our own hands, you know,
Yeah.
on some of this stuff and everything, but I think, like the license for the campground, did we ask for a license for the campground for the state?
No.
No, we didn't. So the state says, that's a state problem,
Yeah.
you know, so we don't have much of a recourse, because we didn't ask for that.
But do we ask for that from, the whistle stop? Can we see your?
Well, that's what I'm saying, we're learning, we're still learning some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Well, I went, tonight, you know, I went back, it was on September 15th, when the MMA lawyer got back to us, you know, on if we have a right to shut down the CUP or anything like that, stuff, what steps are gonna be, and like, Matt Salmon, and they planned, remember, he wanted to shut the thing down, guess what, you can't do it, you know, not legally and stuff, so the steps that's gonna be taken and stuff, but make it work that way.
Matt worked out with me, and what really had upset him was, the vengeance on Bernie. The vengeance, because Bernie came with, you know, you didn't get your license and, you know, all the facts about that. And him sending Wes to check to see if Bernie had a commercial business there.
Yeah.
Bernie and Jerry.
Let's get this meeting over with, and then we'll talk, you know, so it's not being recorded.
Well, I mean,
This meeting, well, yeah, motion to adjourn this meeting, we'll close it out.
I'll make a motion with you.
Now we
Yay.
can, now we can.
Wait a second.
Now we can talk. You
Well,
know,
like-
you don't have to record anything else.
Well, I think sometimes we're too honest too.
Right.
And the other thing, I think we're too big-hearted. You know, we just expect it's gonna be done,
Right.
and we think it's gonna be done, and guess what? Maybe it's not done.
Yeah.
So, but,
Yep.
so who's to blame, but shame on all of us?
Oh,
But you shouldn't have to follow up, I mean, you should be able to trust the person to do the right thing. If
Right.
they say, you know, this is their business, and this is, you know, and they'll take care of business. And if they don't, then, you know, it's hard to know when you gotta chase after them.
You know, every time I take the state licenses, you know, my father sold milk for years.
yeah, yeah.
Because we had to have a Massachusetts license, because that's how it worked. If you get your milk off Maine within Massachusetts, the Massachusetts inspector come and inspect you. Plus we had to have a Maine license, and you had to have that yearly.
Yep.
You know, it was right in the milk room hanging up by all the time.
Yep.
So, and I know Strock, we mentioned, you know, the whistle stop, do they have a liquor license? Do we know that?
No.
And like he says, I guess it's hanging up down there, but do we have proof of that?
You know, Dwight, one of the lessons I learned years ago is that the way we judge people is we look in the mirror and we say, is that guy honest? Yeah, I guess everybody's honest.
Yeah, right,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, it's generally, you know, I think people are honest, I don't doubt them.
I like giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, and people do that to me, and I try to live up to it.
yeah, yep.
But I know that in bigger cities, there are inspectors that go around and they
Yes, there
check
is.
everything out, inspectors for all kinds of different reasons.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You
We just
know,
don't have that in this town.
they can come into a shop and save, or a Shaw's, and find something bad, they can find E. coli, but they don't have to shut the store down, you know that?
Really,
Yeah, that's scary, isn't it?
it is.
I mean, you'd
Does
think
the
if
store
they found
get-
something like that, they'd be made to shut it down right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Well,
they have,
it-
the store have to remedy it?
They have to remember
Yeah.
that, they usually get so long to do it and stuff
Okay.
like that.
But when I worked for Tyson, there was 2 plants that the USDA closed down because of E. coli. That was because they went in and they found it, and they said, okay, you gotta take care of this. and they couldn't get that E. coli under control.
Wow.
And they finally said, okay, you shut down until everything's clean,
Do
everything's.
you prove it? Yeah.
Until you
Wow.
prove it's out. So it really takes extreme measures
Yeah.
to really shut a plant down or
Yeah.
something like that down, but, you know,
Wow.
of course, you can get a hit on E. coli, and depends on how many parts per million you
Right,
get. And,
right.
you know, you still taste like rat turds.
Right.
Mouse turds, you can find
Yep.
so many mouse turds in a restaurant, and they'll
Yep.
keep you running, cause
I gotta
they
be
find
there.
one,
Right.
or they find 100.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Well, thank you guys, I appreciate what you do. Is there anything you'd like to have filled in because you don't have enough manpower, I mean, going, picking something up at whatever you were talking about there?
I think that's something, you know, when I was working, I used the delivery service a lot.
Yeah.
If I went out after something with a pickup truck, it was $75 an hour.
Wow.
For
Yeah.
me and the pickup truck,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But I could call somebody and have something from one side of Portland to the other,
Yeah.
sometimes in the same day, for $8 per package, you know,
I'm with you, I'm with you.
yeah, then you could use your time to a better advantage doing something else.